Hi, my name is Sophia, and I am an Akashic Records reader, an energy healer, and a frequency jewelry artisan where I craft energetically supportive silver and gemstone jewelry. So, for the weekly message, as I tuned into the Akashic Records this week, I felt called to read for the collective rather than my usual audience. The energy that they were pointing to was this rising refusal to tolerate the direction that things are currently heading. This energy feels generally connected to the events that are happening in the outside world, although it may also be mirrored in your personal life, especially if there are situations in your life that you are no longer willing to tolerate. So this resistance isn't abstract. It's like coming up as fire energy within people. And then as they were bringing up the fire energy, it was moving towards astrology. And just to be clear, I'm not an astrologist, but I do look up things when I am specifically asked. And this week, the records specifically asked me to look back at the historical moments where the last time Uranus occupied these exact degrees. And as I looked it up, I noticed that February 4th, this week, Uranus was in retrograde. It's stationing direct at 2727 in Taurus. And it felt really significant. And a lot of people have been talking about Neptune moving into Aries, but I haven't seen very many people talk about the Uranus transit yet, although I'm sure this week they will be talking about it because it did feel like a really big one. So, the last time that Uranus occupied these exact degrees was June 8th and 9th of 1941, and that was like when we were in the middle of World War II. So there's a lot of information here for me to distill and get to the bottom of. But basically, the verdict is that we are touching now a similar threshold point, but with a significant difference. We now have more awareness and consciousness. We have more information and knowledge and remembrance, and more choice and more voice than was available back then. And of course, we now have the internet where we can share ideas, talk to each other, and you know, it's it's like less control, of from outside influence. I mean, there's still a ton of control, don't get me wrong, but there is more communication that can be had between just normal everyday people, and we're not relying on like snail mail or just even phone calls that were extremely expensive. So what is happening now is this shift from internal resistance to expressed resistance. And this is why silence is no longer feeling possible. And another thing I noticed was that the numerology was very striking. It was 2727 degrees of Taurus, and 27, 2 plus 7 is 9, and then 9 plus 9 is 18, and then 18 goes down to 9. Or if you look at it the other way, 27 plus 27 equals 54, which is 5 plus 4 equals 9. So no matter how you look at it, this is 9 energy. This is completion energy. So whatever we are like reaching the end of, there's no turning back. And the message coming through about this is that we already have all of the information that we need. Now we get to respond differently. It's the classic, if you know better, you can do better. And another thing that was coming through really strongly is that humanity is far more unified than we have been led to believe, or that we are being led to believe. We are much more unified, and we need to remember that because, well, anyways, I'm gonna continue on. This is threshold energy. It's a crossing point, and we already have the tools in our toolbox to make this moment count. Our voice is our biggest ally, and words carry power, it's energy made manifest as sound. So use it wisely and for the highest good. So, with that said, it's important to be honest. Transition, transformation, and change, it's not comfortable. It's very, very rarely comfortable. I'm just going to say it that way. They're usually messy, emotionally charged, and unsettling, and yet the end result is almost always worth the struggle. So, I hope this message resonates, and I will also be offering an Akashic Records course where I attune you to the frequency of the records so that you can start reading for yourself or others. And if you feel called, you can check that out. The link is in my bio, and I hope you have the best week.